What's going on, guys? Nadeska Academics and Wayno here. It's our final episode of the week. We made it through week 1. How you guys feeling?
Week 1 of quarantine from the crib. Not gonna lie, this is the first day all week I've actually taken a shower before the show. This is great. I feel so good. I actually got pants on too. I got jeans. I'm good. It's like I'm on set.
TMI, my nigga. We did not want to know that you haven't been wearing pants. We don't want to know that you ain't been washing your ass.
I think we knew that though.
I was wearing like basketball shorts and come on, like.
Now when you're gonna shave.
Listen, it's the first day that Wayno don't look like he about to rob a 7-Eleven for some toilet paper. So I don't know what's going on.
No, but it's been good. It's been good. It's been interesting. I've been having fun. You know, especially yesterday. Yesterday, I feel like we really found our groove with this quarantine from home stuff. Like, so it's been fun.
Yeah, the first episodes are always the hardest, but it's about to get better, and we're gonna be here for a while. So, everyone's just been stuck on the internet. Did you guys actually tune in to watch Mannie Fresh and Scott Storch last night?
Yeah, I definitely watched that.
How was it? So, of course, I think the internet and Swizz Beatz officially declared Scott Storch the winner. They went back and forth with like 20 songs. And T-Pain was originally supposed to be in this, but he wasn't. So he got on Twitter afterwards just to confirm that he didn't back out. They just wanted it to be a fair match with 2 producers instead of a songwriter and a producer. So how was it? I didn't get to tune in. I was doing like a drunk Zoom with my friends.
So, so watching it, like, the thing is like, I feel like it's a little bit unfair for Mannie Fresh only because, you know, he was not stuck, but he was so dedicated to doing all the Cash Money records. So it's a lot of people that and he has worked outside of Cash Money, but it's a lot of records that a lot of people Mannie Fresh didn't get a chance to work with. Scott Storch just had like a wider range, but Mannie Fresh, like, when you look at all what he's done with Cash Money and the records he's done outside of Cash Money, like, and then what with Jeezy and a few others, you can't negate what he's put into the game, the time he's put in. But, like, I still had Scott Storch kind of, you know, having a slight edge on him only because his range is from everything from Lean Back to Me, Myself, and I with Beyonce. You know what I mean? And then Blow Your Mind with Eve. Like, he just got so many different records that you don't put him in one space where Mannie is kind of like, he's not confined. Mannie's a legend. He's not confined, but it's just like because he was an in-house producer for Cash Money, he was really stuck to that. But they made a ton of records, like insane amount of years that they ran the game. So
I absolutely thought that it was unfair, but I thought it was unfair for different reasons. I thought it was unfair because, you know, Scott Storch to me is probably one of the best instrumental players that also moonlight as a producer. I feel like, you know, his production skills came later on in the career in terms of arranging and stuff like that, but it's gonna be unfair when you have a guy who's classically trained with the keys, who's worked with like a Dr. Dre and been the person who's laid down either some of the major chords that has, like, you know, penetrated hip hop for years. So, like, you know, comparing him to Mannie, of course, you know, I think Mannie has, you know, laid a lot of instrumentals that, you know, street shit that we fuck with, you know, like, and, you know, I would probably just say more inner city shit, but like the hits that Scott Storch has touched, whether it's R&B shit or whether it's just hip hop and some of the hits and how big they've gotten, like, it's kind of unfair. To be honest, man, you would literally have to put Scott Storch against, like, you gotta put him like against like Pharrell, and by the way, this is no knock to man. You gotta put him against like Pharrell or shit. You know what I mean? It's hard to like kind of break the two apart a bit, but like shit, Dre. I'm sorry, and this is the reason why I think that Scott Storch goes through this period of, remember, you know, he got super rich, the famous story of him blowing all his money.
Yeah. And
we never see producers get a second run, and to be honest, for the last couple of years, Scott Storch been getting a lot of placements. You know why? Yeah. I think he's supremely talented just from an instrumental, from a just a pure classical trained musician standpoint, and that shows that it always wins.
So if we get a lot more of these battles moving forward, do you think we have to be more mindful of who's getting matched up? Would you guys rather not see it at all if you don't think it's a fair match?
No, I still think, I mean, in all fairness, I still think it was a good match because it's production. You know, with Mannie, I just, you know, the thing with Mannie is like he's held to like a certain standard. It's like even with Swizz Beatz, at one point in time, Swizz Beatz was only doing stuff for Rough Riders, right? Only doing stuff for Rough Riders, and then he branched out into doing so many other things. Same thing kind of like with Pharrell. He was under Terry Riley for a bit, and then he was doing No, I ain't gonna lie. The Neptunes was doing shit for everybody, but like they're not held. Pharrell is not held to only doing Clips albums. He's not held to only doing Khalees albums. He still has great records with Nas, Jay, shit, Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears. I feel like Mannie has the ability to do all of that, but the way he was just positioned, he never got a chance to really get his ideas off. But when we had Birdman on the show, that's why I asked him, like, who was coming up with all of these things? And remember, Birdman was basically like, yo, Mannie was setting up all these ideas. I was just coming in and doing the easy part, but Mannie was coming up with all the hooks and shit. So I don't think it was unfair in that space. Like, I think that I still put him against Scott Storch.
You know what's so interesting about that is that I think, as we get like 30 more days of quarantine, and of course this is probably going to happen, I see a couple more being set up. I think people are going to start to realize not only like, I think on paper things might even look good, but it's also about the execution. If you watch the demeanor of both guys, like, man, Scott Storch was super chill despite, you had Mannie Fresh back that ass up. And to be honest, like, he was just chill. It's about time and placement. Right. The art of I don't want to call it Instagram because it's not an Instagram. Like, the art of the hit for hit battle is something people have to study. In a dancehall culture, artists do what they call like sound clashes. My hit versus your hit. They do it live on stage. Yeah. And it's really interesting how you control the crowd, how you react to the other person's song, and when you choose to drop certain heavy hits or heavy hitters in your catalog versus other people. I mean, Scott Storch could have dropped Still Dre early. You feel me? Yeah. Instead, you got it. That's an ender. That's a game over type of situation. So, I watch him in the demeanor of that, and I watch how Tory Lanez try to do. He tried to perform it a bunch and stuff like that. But, I think this is all in good fun. I don't know if Wayno has a score for it, but I got in a little bit late. So I think I was like 4 or 5 tracks in when I got in. Yeah. Not going to lie. I don't think Mannie Fresh won a round once I got in, bro.
Won a round? Oh, once you got in.
No. Once I got in. Okay. I think he won a couple early rounds. But once I got in, it looked like it was a victory lap, being taken,
Well, towards the end, I feel like towards the end is when Scott Storch really got him. But, like, I think that this is just dope to educate a lot of the young people that might not know. It's like, a lot of kids might hear Scott Storch and they might know him for like a year or two ago he produced for 6ix9ine, right? They might know him for that and then see this battle and not know that he was the guy that produced all the shit that their mothers and fathers was playing. Mm-hmm. So I think like on the educational aspect is really dope. But like Mannie definitely early on got a few rounds in. Like he definitely got him on a few rounds. But it's a battle. So even though it's being had on Instagram, I do think there is some sort of performance aspect added to it. Like you gotta, like I gotta see Mannie Fresh get up and do that little silly ass dance. Like, you know what I mean? Like you need all of that in order to win a battle. Like you can't just sit there all cool and be like, hey, I did this, I did that. Yeah. But I do like them being classy because I felt like Dream and Sean Garrett. I feel like Sean Garrett said all the shit that he wanted to say to Dream over the past 10 years. A little animosity. Yeah, some animosity there, But overall, like I'm not mad about these things. I think that they should still go on as long as they had with class or respect,
Hey, in terms of education, honestly, I didn't even know that Scott Storch did the production on "You Should Let Me Love You." I didn't even know that R&B joint. Like, I know for a lot of the classic, like Lean Back, This and Third, but like that R&B joint when he pulled it out, I was like, whoa, oh shit.
He's done so many records, and even like so when he did like the Me, Myself, and I record, Me, Myself, and I was written by this old school rapper from Philly named EST. Like a lot of people don't even know that. Like, so some of our most favorite records come from the most unconventional person you would think about making them,
Okay, now I feel really bad that I missed it. I can't miss any more of these. I'm gonna tune in after, but it looks like we have some more performance art coming to Instagram soon, possibly. So a few weeks ago we were joking about 6ix9ine possibly coming home on August 2nd, but XXL got their hands on some court documents which say that apparently his release has been approved by prison officials because he had asthma, which we talked about last time. So of course that can cause serious complications if you contract COVID-19, but apparently the judge still has to make the final final decision. So if he is released, he could end up doing 24-hour home confinement until August. But academics, I mean, I'm sure you have all of the answers.
Of course,
Has he
FaceTimed
FaceTimed you with an update?
Hey, listen, man. I don't know
Now
what y'all have
it's
heard.
this. Hey, listen, man.
I don't know nothing about nothing, and I
Right.
don't believe in snitching. But anyway, I will say, according to official court documents, I ain't gonna lie to you, 6ix9ine finna be out today. If you ask me, pretty much the judge is saying that, you know, I think it's an interesting. By the way, one of his co-defendants, Kuda B, got out. You know, salute to him. But I think the judge was rather lenient with the fact that he has asthma, and whether you want to call it a BS reason or not, they're allowing him to get out. You know, the only thing holding it up is that they didn't know if the judge had the authority to let him out. But apparently, since he's in this like private prison, it's not really like the regular Federal Bureau of Prisons. It's a whole long story, but pretty much he's gonna be let out. The judge has to sign off pretty much today. Which, if you ask me, they're probably gonna let him out. The only thing is, I think they're probably gonna like tell him not to be on social media.
I was just gonna say, what are the rules for confinement? Do you know any more details?
I mean, it's house arrest. The judge has to make it up. You know, this is the same judge who said, "Hey, while sentencing him, right? He said, I'm not gonna let you out today. Everyone thought he was gonna get out when get time served. He said, I'm not gonna let you out today. I saw all the memes. I saw people ready to like celebrate you coming home, but it's not gonna happen. I appreciate the memes," which just says the judge keeps up with the internet. I do think that the judge probably will put some restriction in place that he doesn't look like a fool with letting 6ix9ine out and he's like going crazy on Instagram. You get me? So
you know that he comes out, he's gonna call the judge stupid. He's gonna call everybody else stupid. All of that. Like,
He's a changed man, right?
But academics. Are you? I know. Are you excited for this? Like, I just want to know your thoughts and feelings. Are you excited for this?
And feelings.
No, actually, I'm actually happy for him if he comes out. And to be honest, I am a little bit excited. And really, I'm excited because I do think that 6ix9ine is content. You know, I think, you know, in regular situations, I would be very much in fear of his life. But I think, hey, the gangsters inside.
So, Ak, are you saying that you miss him? Is that what you just said?
I think hip-hop misses him.
Hip hop.
Interesting.
And the only thing is that I don't know if it's for the better or for the worse. You know, hip hop sometimes craves things that is self-destructive. You get me? But it seems like
I wouldn't call this hip hop missing him. I would call the trolls missing him. I don't know if
Wait, no, you can say you miss him too, man. Come on.
I don't miss anything about 6ix9ine. Are you crazy?
All right, man.
Well, if your son, like, he about to ask me if my son comes down with a rainbow wig, what do I say? Like, you know how Ak always got to throw some shit into it.
I'm just saying, if 6ix9ine calls into the show, you know, we add him into the Zoom call on Monday. Keep the same energy, Wayno. Keep the same energy.
He'll be taking my place on the show for the day. Yeah, I can
Stop
have
it,
that.
Wayno,
Yeah, I can have that.
Matter of fact, he might have to just come to where you record. Like, you seem to be at a safe location.
Yo, stop playing with me. I can tell you. Don't play with my livelihood and my household, all right?
So I gotta say though, no one saw the story unfolding this way. Only 6ix9ine could go through everything he went through, go to prison, and get released early because of a once in a lifetime pandemic. Once in many lifetimes, even.
Right.
One thing I'll add, like in the bigger scope of things, right? By the way, this is also a federal issue, right? We see Kodak Black; he's in federal custody. Perhaps Kodak Black's lawyer should probably seek. I don't know if they submitted like, yo, he has asthma or anything before he got sentenced, but maybe they should try to see if it's a possibility to get him released early. You know, I see R. Kelly's team trying to do a couple.
Well, I mean, Kodak. Even if Kodak was to get out, bro, he got a 46-month sentence. So like, they're definitely once everything gets fixed, they definitely putting him back in. Like for real, like he did.
Well, I think that's where the ramifications come in because like I could see the lawyers say if they perform good on house arrest, try to just say, hey, let him serve the rest on house arrest. It saves you money.
Yeah, if you fuck up on house arrest, like, it's not, you can't fuck that up. You know what I mean? Like,
all right, man. You said happening within 24 hours, so let's stay tuned. This is about to get weird.
That's okay. He might be in Brooklyn. Like, could he come to your crib?
I'm cool, academics. I am cool. Yes, yesterday we talked a lot about Lil Wayne and Jay-Z's influence, and it seems like Young Thug will go down to be one of you know, the most influential artist for this upcoming generation of kids. When Lil Baby was on Everyday Struggle, he talked about how he changed his life, you know, paying him to focus on rapping and get out of the streets. So here is Young Thug already saying basically that he feels like he really paved the way for young rappers to be themselves. Take a look.
Motherfucking drip god. Nigga, I'm the drip god. The fuck up. I created this shit. I made the way for young niggas to open up and be themselves. I did this.
God.
I got crucified. They called me gay. They ain't call y'all nigga gay. They called me gay, nigga. I made you tighten your jeans up, nigga. Only reason they got dicks in their jeans. Only reason you toting 30 rounds, I promise I am. I'm the wave god. I'm the master. I'm the founder. Timely, you dig what I'm saying?
All right, so we have touched on this before. You know, Young Thug coming out wearing the dresses, the flamboyant album cover, all the things he did that people really did crucify him for. So do you agree with what he's saying here, that he really took all the arrows for this generation to be themselves?
I think it's two parts to it. I don't credit Young Thug for that. I credit Lil Wayne for that. Because I don't think Young Thug does all the shit that he does if Lil Wayne isn't wearing cheetah spandex in 2008 and 2009. Or walking around with a guitar or capes and all types of other crazy shit, or piercing his lip. You know what I mean? Like Thug got the same exact piercing that Wayne got. So I think that Thug, when he described it, he did say that I'm the only person that was wearing tight jeans and pulling out 30 round clips and videos. Like you got that part right there, and I do think that he's very influential over the past. I wouldn't say decade. I say over the past like 5 or 6 years. But without Lil Wayne, none of these do. Thug wouldn't have dreads. I don't even think Thug would have dreads without Lil Wayne having dreads. You could see a clip of him in like 2011 saying how Lil Wayne was so influential to him, and that's his favorite rapper. So, you know, without Lil Wayne's influence, what is it?
You know, I want to agree with Thug, but I don't think I can. And the reason I can't is that, like, you know, I think a lot of stuff that Young Thug was doing wasn't him trying to completely be himself. I think a lot of it was trolling. And it was his way of trolling to... I mean, of course, he didn't give a fuck, right? So, like, maybe he's trying to say, hey, I just didn't give a fuck and I influenced people not to give a fuck. Okay, but I think he did it for attention, a lot of it. Like, I felt like, you know, blurring the lines between... people questioning his sexuality, I felt like that was intrigue for his career at that point. You get me? For better or for worse. I do believe some of the things he did or said, I do believe that was also for attention. So I can't necessarily say that he was completely doing it to be himself, because we don't see that continuing these days with Young Thug, now that he's been established, now that he's kind of getting his flowers, so to speak, right? So it's hard for me to credit him with that. Then even on the flip side, who would I be saying is the benefactors of that for me to say you've influenced or you have like taken the arrows for them? I mean, who else is really rocking dresses? I mean, we see a few people, quote unquote, wearing purses, but again, most of them are trolling. Like, let's be very honest. We saw Lil Pump. He's trolling. He's not being himself. He's trolling. He's trolling because it's a time where he needs to drum up attention. We've seen Uzi, and maybe you could say, I think there's a lot of influence, or maybe, you know, a lot of things that Uzi either doesn't get flack for. We saw Thug get flack for, yeah, minus the dress wearing type of thing, but okay, I see that there, but I don't think that's enough influence to compare to what you mentioned, like Lil Wayne. I feel like Lil Wayne really bore the brunt of criticism and flack for a lot of things he did that today is commonplace, and that's where I would say that. Now, and before I feel like you want to interject, so I'll say one thing, and I'll give it back to you. I would give him more credit for the evolution of musical style. You know, I think, of course, that still comes from Wayne, but I feel like he took it and he kind of evolved it a bit, where we do get the gunners, we do get the little keys, you know, also Lil Baby a bit. You feel me? Like, I think he has helped evolve the mainstream sound of music. But that's about it I could give him.
I agree there. I didn't have really much more to add, but that, like, I feel like, you know, a lot of the stuff that Thug is champion for is not only just the dresses, like not only just him wearing dresses, but Lil Wayne, he was the first rapper that people was insinuating was he gay. You know what I mean? Like, and I mean that's not like I don't think that's the dopest thing to be the first to do. You know what I'm saying? But he was the person who everybody questioned them, but brought it back to the music. Like I think no matter what Wayne was doing in his own world, he always kept his music at the highest level, you know, while doing these things. So yeah, Thug does have the influence over the Gunners, the Keys. I don't think like Birdman said, he gave him the game, and that's how Thug is doing what he's doing now with his artists. So I think that, you know, all of this influence derives from somewhere else. You know, if we're not influenced by one another person, then what are we for real? Like there's definitely people who are pioneers for stuff, but they're influenced by somebody else.
I'm loving all of the Lil Wayne appreciation this week. That's a beautiful thing coming out of all of this. He deserves it. He deserves it. All right, so real quick, I want to talk about this new Joyner Lucas album. So he released his debut album, ADHD, last week. This is the first full project we've gotten from him since his 2017 mixtape. There's 18 tracks on this one. He's got a lot of dope features, people like Young Thug, Chris Brown, Logic, and Fab. Timbaland produced on there, as well as Boy Wonder, Illmind, and others. And we got a few singles from this too, Devil's Work, Lotto, and Will, which trended last week, especially when Will Smith shouted him out for the video. So Joyner's had a lot of big success in the past few years with singles and videos like I'm Not Racist, which started a lot of, you know, good and very important conversation. But I think a lot of us are waiting to see how this culminated with his debut album. So what do you guys think of the project?
Honestly, I was really impressed by it. You know, I never really gave Joyner, like aside from his singles, I never really tried to give him a real strong listen or really strong opinions. And I think that's because like Joyner is like a draft pick that's not really wasn't really projected to do much. You know, I think when he first started coming out with a lot of the music he came out with, he really people wasn't having him as a topic of discussion. And then when he did I'm Not Racist, that kind of put him in a conversation of, can this dude actually make some dope content driven, substance driven music? Mm-hmm. After that, he just kept giving us videos of the same thing, which is cool. I'm not knocking that, but then you see him request to leave Atlantic, so everybody's kind of looking at him like, what are you doing? He put himself in a great underdog position, and I felt like with this album, he really delivered. Like not only those things with the singles, but him getting Kevin Hart to do skits on his album, Chris Tucker, like he had Chris Tucker playing basically a Smokey, giving him a skit. You know, I think that that's really impressive for an artist that many people might know the name more than they know the face. Mm-hmm. But he really delivers some really, really, really solid music on here. And like even with him having Thug on the song, like Joyner, even when the first time I heard Joyner, I didn't think that he would even want to do music with Thugger. You know, but he really put together a project that it kind of took me by storm. Like I didn't think it was going to be this good. But my only critique on it, if I have any, is that it's pretty long. But that's with the added skits. But other than that, it's a pretty solid debut. All right.
Ark, how do you feel?
All right, so sometimes I get that title of being a negative Nancy when you know, I feel like everybody's sitting around having a kumbaya moment. So do y'all want the like, yo, it's a good album review, or do you want, hey, listen, it's a good album but review?
Let's just hear it, academics.
Let's do it. Let's just do it.
All right, so I enjoy it. Ever since I heard, you know, a couple more, because I've always thought, like once I first started seeing him doing like, you know, a lot of the themed videos that match the songs, I'm like, okay, pretty creative guy. Okay, cool. He's got an knack to kind of capture social interest and kind of direct the conversation. Cool. But this is rap music. This is hip hop. How much more can you do outside of that? Are you the guy that this is the only way you kind of do a This Is America, you know, salute to Childish Gambino type of video? Or could you also have a song that we could all bump without having some deep intellectual, you know, deep dive conversation? I think he did do that. I forgot what the joint is.
Good point.
I remember giving it props when it did come out. I said, okay, I like this one. He could kind of, you know, quote unquote, dumb it down a little bit. And I think for artists, you got to know how to be super diverse. You know, like you got to be able to, you know, be deep at times, introspective, also just kind of be surface level. And once I saw that, I was like, I like where he's going. Let's see how far it could go. When it came to this project, you know, I don't think him rapping has ever been a question. So that's not where the critique or anything for me lies with Joyner. And I think it's a dope project. We did hear a couple of those joints before. I do think it's a, he tried to make it we're calling this the debut? Are we? Okay. All right. Okay.
Well, I would call this debut
That's
album.
official, because the other one was technically a mixtape, I believe.
It and tell a story a bit. The joint with Chris Brown is fire. Okay? I really like it. What was it called? Finally? Yeah, I like that joint. I think him and Chris Brown have a real nice chemistry. My critique is this. I don't know if this does anything for Joyner in terms of changing the perception before it dropped and after it dropped. You get me? Like, I feel like he's heading towards a place where, I think on the same road, even though super and way younger, like you see YB and Corday, and you're like dudes who could spit, but they're super multifaceted, and you could definitely see them heading towards that Kendrick, maybe even Cole lane, right? And I still have a few questions about him after this project, which I feel like, I don't know if this album did enough to, like, again, not only for me, because I'm a quote-unquote critic, I don't think this album accomplished in a career sense what it needed to put him to that next level. But do I think it's a solid project? Yes. You get me? I just feel like for him, he needs a project that changes the conversation and the narrative about Joyner Lucas. And I don't think that has been changed yet. Now, and I have to say, it's a nuance. This is why it's a nuanced review. It doesn't mean I think the album is not good. It is good. I just believe that the narrative of what he is and the type of artist he is still continues with this album, which I think he's trying to break out of.
I think that's a good point, because like I still feel like there's things about him that I don't know. Like I with this album, like it's a really good album, but I feel like him as an artist, there's things about him that I don't know, and that's the only thing I'm looking for at this point. But I do think that he wasn't co-signed by anybody. Like, he wasn't signed to another artist. He wasn't like on tour with other artists. The thing that I like about Joyner Lucas the most is that he's like really self-made in the space of him accomplishing getting these big ass features, like to be on Eminem's album, to have records with Thugger, to have records with Chris Brown, videos with Chris Brown, all these different things. There is no person that you hold responsible for it other than him. So I think that's pretty impressive. But I do like this album. I think that your critique wasn't bad. I thought you was gonna go totally.
Yeah, no, that was not disrespectful. That was a fair critique, and I think Joyner has a lot more music in him. So let's see what else we get. I'm sure there's gonna be more coming. We don't have any time for any more topics, but it's about to be the weekend. What are you guys doing? I'm going crazy. I was like melting down on my fire escape yesterday. I need to get out of this apartment.
Well, I can't believe
I've been in the house since Saturday. Like, I haven't been out my house since Saturday. So today I'm gonna go to Walmart. Like, I'm gonna go to Walmart. I think I'm gonna I don't know. I'm gonna buy some shit that I ain't got. My taser.
I'm telling you, a nigga come close, you might have to tase him.
Nah, man, but I'm gonna just go buy some shit that to make myself happy that I ain't really got no business behind, like some LED bulb, the hue bulbs. So you can
those are great, and then you could set it up with the app. I have one of those. It's nice.
Only Wade was thinking about flossing during quarantine, man.
I'm not. Listen. Stop it, man. I just want to have a little bit of fun.
Let this man live.
Like, we trying to change up a few things.
Wait. We're not gonna gloss over the fact that Nadeska said at the top of the show that she was too busy to watch the Scott Storch and Mannie Fresh battle because she was drunk.
It's the first time I've seen my friends in 3 weeks. Now I was really, really going crazy. Like yesterday, I needed that. I really needed that. It was like 10 of us on there for like 3 hours, and I think we all felt a lot better afterwards.
Well, I guess that's what I was trying to say. Like, like for people, like, how do you interact with your? Have you guys been video chatting with friends, or do you like? I mean, listen, they put in place a policy of like no more than 5 people. Just invite like 3 people over. It's not.
No, man, you can't.
This is how you break the rules.
Though. You can't. You don't know what people are doing in this space.
The rule is no more than 5. Like, damn.
And then you all have to space it 6 feet. My apartment is too small to have people over and be like, everyone has 6 feet of space in between them. It's not gonna work.
But this is the problem, and that's good. This is the problem because academics, his quarantine means chill people I know.
Apparently, that's the black people quarantine.
Right.
That's good. You gonna stop acting like your apartment's small before I expose that you live in a whole mansion in Brooklyn, man.
This bullshit narrative.
Well, Well, I do, I watch, I do watch a lot of TV, so I'm going to try to find some things to watch. I've been playing a lot of video games, but I do also make sure I tune into my man Academics' page because, well, not his Instagram, but his YouTube, because, his commentary on everything is hilarious. So, please make sure that you're dropping videos for the next couple of days.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. By the way, 6ix9ine is coming out tonight. I'm telling you.
This is gonna be a circus.
I can't. He gonna be like, oh, 6ix9ine told me. Yo. Make sure you click and subscribe though.
Hey, this weekend, and some real life stuff. And I know, like, this is kind of like the dark cloud that hangs over everything. The reason why we're doing this is like, it's really just making sure like family's fine. It's weird, like, trying to check on your loved ones, but, like, you don't want to go over there just because it's, like,
you don't want to
weird,
get anyone else sick. That's why it sucks you. You're, like, trapped in this cage. But, look, last thing before we go, I've been cooking a lot. I'm practicing for our cook-off. I'm ready for you. Come Thanksgiving when we can finally leave the crib, I'm ready to go.
Stop it, Deska.
We're going to have a potluck. We're going to have a potluck.
The Deska can't even boil
All right,
water.
everybody, cut the Zoom now.
Too.
Enough of him.
No, hold on. Wait, just let me say one more important thing because this story came across, and by the way, I saw it on Complex's page. I want to salute to a elder lady who just passed away named Susan. Yeah. While we all joke around and we see people still define, like, the orders of the authorities, like, especially in New York City, like, there's a limited amount of hospital beds, ventilators, and other medical supplies that's helping people who are infected with the coronavirus. And, to see an elderly lady who, she said, hey, listen, don't waste one on me. Use it for the younger people because it was in high demand and she just passed away. I believe her name is Susan. I just want to send my condolences to her family. I don't even know who she is, honestly, but I saw that story, and that's the ultimate selfless act. And, we don't think about those sacrifices and those type of decisions while we all try to, get through this moment. So, salute to her and her family, and I wish them to, I hope during this time of grief they could find, some type of, solid.
Thank you for sharing that act. That's
really
nice. Our condolences. Stay sane out there. Take care of your people. We love you guys. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you here Monday on Everyday Struggle.